C'est la vie.
C'est la vie.
Okay.
These French people are always late, no?
Well, I don't believe in stereotypes. I don't believe in stereotypes. You know they shut the sun down in a hall, and then they try to shut me down.
Okay, we're gonna get started and hopefully Nicole is gonna join us in a few minutes. Hi everyone, my name is Ben Berto. I'm the presiding officer for today because our president is unfortunately unable to make it because of the IEA General Conference. I suppose some of you in the room also are very busy at the time. But this is also the reason why we're here. Normally we're in the IEA library room, but it's also busy because of the GC. Before I get into the business section, I would like to invite our guest of today to tell us how they hear about us and why are they joining. Do you want to start?
Yes. So my name is Marta Bledek. You can call me Maggie because it's easier to pronounce. And I am actually invited by Hannah. Okay, she's my colleague, room colleague, yeah. And we started actually to speak about Toastmasters and she joined first time. Our colleague, Rhea, she is actually also involved in the club, so somehow we got introduced to the club. And I am very interested to see how you work here and hopefully participate.
Okay, I'm Alexander, but please call me Sasha, because there are too many Alexanders in CTBTO, so ask everybody to call me please Sasha. Yes, I was invited by Vera Milinovic, my team, but she's not a member of club as far as I understand now. But, yeah. So it's my first time here, and I would like to understand how it works and probably just take part in speaking and improve, improve my speaking ability and my knowledge, and probably I will be interested for you as well.
Thank you. Do you have another?
Yes, yes. This is my second time. My name is Adelina. I'm IEA, for the pronunciation. Yes, I learned what Toastmasters do a bit last time, 2 weeks ago, and it seems very interesting for me to my self-development.
So this is very apropos. Are you a guest for the Toastmasters meeting?
I am.
Please, we're making the rounds of introduction.
Sorry to be late.
No, no need to apologize.
So how did you hear about us and why are you joining today?
Oh, right on the top. Well, I think I saw you in the rotunda at some point, and I thought at some point, and the guilt has been nagging at me because I'm a ghost. My job here is to be a ghost because I write speeches for somebody. And I never have to give them, which suits me because I've always been a writer and a thinker. And I sit in my little ivory tower and I thought, at some point maybe I should come and see you. And that's why I'm here. Great.
When Nicole is joining us, we can maybe jump into the business section. So for dessert, yes.
No problem.
Do you want to say?
Yeah, thank you. So my name is Petra Salmutter. I'm already a member of a German-speaking club. So we have the great chance in Vienna that we have 5 clubs in total. So we are able also to visit other clubs, and today is a big honor to visit you. This year I have the possibility to support the clubs as called area director, because after the clubs we are collected together in an area, and the area is Vienna with the 5 clubs. So this Yeah, this would be my short introduction. So I'm already since spring 2001 a member of Toastmasters, and my great passion is not only to develop myself, but also to support other members to develop themselves. That's why I continued in the executive board of my own club and now in the area. So it's great to meet you all, and I hope that the guests will join, because it's really incredible how fast you develop yourself within a few weeks or months. Yeah? So congratulations to your...
Thank you, Rita. Hello everyone, my name is Paco Vázquez. I'm member of the second best club after your club in Vienna, Vienna Toastmasters of F1. I was last year president, and this year I have the honor to help Petra in the area director. I was supposed to be area director, but the two areas merged in one, so we only can have official area director, but I'm not an official, but assistant of area director in the what's the name? The program quality or program quality assistant director. This is my official role. And next year, if I continue in Vienna, hopefully I will get the role of the area director, and Petra will be my current role. So happy to be here. Thank you very much for the invitation. Yeah, that's it.
Right, straight into the business section. Then for those of you who will be joining us as new members at the next meeting on the 10th of October, we'll have an induction ceremony and give you those amazing pins that you can wear wherever you give a speech. And I think that's about it for next meeting. The other business point I would like to tell you is that membership fees are due right now, and you should contact Silla. So for all the members or members to become, dues are to be paid. With this, I would like to open today's meeting, which has limited time, and give the floor to the Toastmaster of the day, Maria Teresa.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ben. Fellow Toastmasters, honored guests, prominence, so to speak, today. Our area director and our assistant area director, we are honored to have you joining us today. Whereby, I should mention at the onset, our meeting theme for today is time. Uh-oh. I hope that's wrong. I don't wear a watch, so I'm totally oblivious to time. Can somebody at least inform me what the correct time is?
It's 27.
Oh, so that's almost correct. Okay, so, fellow Toastmasters, honored guests, I basically live by my agenda. I see it in my sleep. I see your names in my sleep. And today, there are some deviations to our agenda, so I should inform you of that. At present, our prepared speaker is not near, which means we have to be a little bit flexible, and we're going to go through our so-called table topic session. For those of you who are brand new to the Toastmasters, a table topic is a question that is basically delivered by a table topics master, and you have 1 to 2 minutes to answer the question. The only thing being here, you have no idea what the question is. So you haven't been able to prepare and get yourself ready. You have to basically stand up and 1 to 2 minutes. Now, 1 to 2 minutes sounds like this is nothing. If you get a subject where you have absolutely no knowledge of it, I can only say from my own experience, 1 minute was an eternity. It was like it wouldn't end. It was just going on and on and on. So that's the table topics, which we actually will have shortly. But before I do that, I think it's my duty to introduce you to today's general evaluator, Toastmaster Petra.
Thank you, Toastmaster Maria Teresa. Thank you to all of you. So, the crazy thing here at Toastmasters is that we have a kind of copy-paste of the business life. So on one hand, we have the prepared speeches, like you go to a meeting presenting something. So, and here you also need to follow the timeline of the host. You need to follow the agenda. So this is a great practice area. Then I'm representing today the evaluations. So if you have any kind of employee one-to-one with your bosses, or if you need to discuss in a round and give feedback to any decision, then of course this is also a great opportunity here to train the evaluation. And here we have around 2 to 3 minutes time, the evaluators, to give constructive and very helpful feedback to the speaker. So it's not to punish you, it's just to give you the opportunity to learn from your own speech. Yeah. And of course, you also get a good understanding of other speeches when they get evaluated by telling or by understanding what was the best out of those speeches. So it's a great chance. And I may already invite you to get to know the team, right?
Yeah, would you introduce your team?
Yes, thank you. So I'm not alone. I have a great team. So we have the grammarian, and I asked Dan to tell us a bit about the grammarian. Thank you.
Thank you, General Grader. So, grammarian is really simple. I'm not a native speaker in English, but I'll be in charge of checking the good usage of English language, even though I'm not a professional. And also, I would like to introduce the word of the day that would be an advantage or something beneficial if you use it. And the word of the day is nostalgic. As I'll be leaving the VIC in a few weeks, I'm starting to be nostalgic of my years in Vienna, so I decided to put this word. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. So now we have Hannah. Please tell us what is the timekeeper. Thank you.
Dear fellow Toastmaster, honored guests. So it has been my second time since I became a member in this club and my first active role. So I will be keeping track of time for prepared speeches, table topics, and evaluation. We have for prepared speeches between 5 and 7 minutes. So if you reach the 5 minutes time, I will raise the green card, then 6 minutes yellow card, and when the time is over, by 7 minutes, I will raise the red card. For table topics, we have 2 minutes, so the same, 1 minute, 1 minute 30, 2 minutes, and for evaluation, 2 to 3 minutes, 2 minutes green card, 2 minutes 30, yellow card, and when the time is over, by 2 minutes, the red card.
Thank you very much. And yes, our today's topic is time. Just a quick explanation. We have also international contests, and for this it's even more important to practice keeping the time. So when we don't reach the green card, there's a small
Penalty.
penalty. Or
Disqualification.
you get disqualified if you are not reaching the minimum or the maximum, or you reach over the maximum time. Just also to get a better understanding why we really try to practice as much as possible, and of course also to keep the agenda. That's why I invite now Ben again. A counter.
Guest me again. Happy also today the A counter. So counting all the feeling words we're using A, and and I already started.
And so just as an explanation, before disqualifying, there is 30 seconds extra, but we try to keep as much as possible. Thank you very much, Paco. And now, also a very important role that will be also used today, right? Although we have only one prepared speech.
Yeah, we don't mention that particularly, but I will intend to mention it, okay?
Good, thank you.
The only other thing is the ballot counter.
Yeah, so the final role is ballot counter, and I asked Arush to explain us what is the role. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So in this club, we like to have speeches which are evaluated, although everyone is welcome to express themselves. So my role would be to count the ballots at the end of the table topic session, and then I will be announcing the winner for the table topics. Thank you.
May I just mention, this is the evaluation sheet where everybody in the room can evaluate various aspects of the meeting, and at the very bottom you should find best table topic speaker. And Aruz was referring to counting the ballots for the best table topic speaker, just to clarify that. Good afternoon, hello, I'm glad you found us. I'm glad you found us. So, back to you, Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you.
Or should I just go ahead?
I have just one explanation. What we also stress out in our meetings, that we don't evaluate the individual, we evaluate the speech. So it's a bit maybe confusing with the English saying best evaluator, best speaker. But for us it's always important to stress out we are evaluating not the person, but the speech itself. So the more constructive feedback you can give, the better, of course. So thank you very much, and I will hand over back to our super lovely Maria Teresa, our Toastmaster.
Well, I don't know about that. First of all, this shouldn't be standing room only, so let's try to improvise a little bit. There are 2 seats over this direction. In fact, if I pull this out, I could get us 3. And may I go a little bit kind of off of the agenda and just mention we have had a couple of people who have walked in the meantime. A few of them, I know your names. With your kind permission, we sort of not proceed with the meeting, but basically introduce our guests, of which we are always very grateful because potentially our guests are new members. So may I kindly ask Danila, who I remember very well from our last meeting, please, why are you here today?
Good afternoon. This is my second time here as a guest. I work for the IEA, and I guess I'm very interested in being with you guys, and we're very late because we were in the wrong room. They're waiting for a few minutes.
Okay, were you in the library?
Yeah.
Okay, such is life, such is life. The next person whose name I remember is Evert. What? Evert.
Yeah.
Okay, Evert. Okay, I'll try to remember Evert. What made you come to our meeting today?
The topic.
Time.
Okay, Tana.
I'm retired from first good afternoon, greetings. Then I'm retired from Unido, and I have problems in speaking, and I want to address that.
Well, Evert, you've come to the right place. That's, I think, basically the reason every single one of us here in the room came. Is it Sagitha?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, you see, I do remember the agenda.
I'm impressed.
I get everybody to sign in on the guest book. Would you please introduce yourself?
Hi everyone, my name is Siddesh and I'm currently working at IEA, Division of Business and Finance, and this is my second time here. And yeah, interested to meet new people and also to improve my speaking, like public speaking skills.
We're glad to have you here. Welcome. Now, I'm going to be challenged here. I think you won a table topics competition at one point. But would you please introduce us to the group?
Oh yes, I'm Loipa Sanchez. I'm work for CTVTO. External relation. It's my first time here. I arrived late, sorry, because I didn't find the location. So it's a pleasure to be with you.
Okay, well, we're better later than never. And last but not least, the lady in the corner over there.
Oh, thank you very much. I'm Carla. I also work for CTVTO. This is my first time here, and why am I here? Because I cannot say I want to improve my public speaking. I want to be able to speak publicly. I'm very shy.
I could only say without this club, I would not be where I am today. We have to think about that. In any event, I want to at least kind of recap a few things that Petra said in the course of her agenda evaluation presentation. A Toastmasters always consists of 3 elements: a prepared speech, a table topic session, and an evaluation session. And of course, everybody was very worried because ordinarily the first part of our meeting after our introductions is to basically have the prepared speech. But our speaker wasn't here, but she is now. She is now, don't look at me like that, Nicole. Well, Nicole is, after Toastmaster Otto, our most advanced member of this club, having finished a path in Pathways, to her credit. Yeah, that's to her credit. And she told me this is a speech to remember. I only can say, Nicole, I have never found any of your speeches unforgettable. In fact, they have done something to me, not in the course of you giving the speech, but it's given me something to think about later on, and to chew on and think, what was the woman trying to say? She's very articulate, she's very polished. By the way, for those of you who are just starting, don't think you have to compare yourself to Nicole, because she's been in the club several years. So not everybody is at her level, but she is at a high level. And the title of her speech today is Do Not Forget. Target time, Hannah, is 5 to 7 minutes. Toastmaster Nicole, do not forget.
Evaluator?
We don't have a workbook, we don't have an evaluation sheet. It's a little bit freeform. So, a good point of order. Toastmaster Nicole.
Well, first of all, and that's not part of my speech. Sorry for being late, but there are 9 X factors, and the underground is one of them. So there was a problem with the underground. That's why I was late. Let's not forget. I'll go even further. Let's really remember. Why am I saying that? Well, if you're patient enough and you listen to my speech and to the end of it, you'll find out. Fellow Toastmasters and their guests, when I was a child, I used to live on my little cloud up there, not really worrying about what adults were doing or saying. So much so that my mother had to remind me regularly of what I had to put in my school bag. But even so, it happened sometimes when I arrived at school that my teacher would tell me, Nicole, have you brought that exercise book, the new one, I told you about 2 days ago? What exercise book? Oh, that one. Oops, I forgot. And when I was a child, again, like a lot of children, there were things I didn't like, especially things I didn't like to eat. In my case, it was carrots. I hated carrots. So my mother would stand by the table and say to me, Nicole, you eat those carrots. Because remember, if we were at war, not only would you eat them, but you would appreciate them. You see, my mother lived through the Second World War. Not the first, because I'm not that old. But during the Second World War, people went hungry. And for them, sometimes carrots were a luxury. And then I grew older. But it didn't get any better. I developed a mental block. I forget names. And that can put me in really embarrassing situations. But fortunately, I've got a husband. And sometimes husbands can come handy. For instance, when we are in a party or event of some sort and I have to introduce somebody I'm supposed to know to my husband and vice versa, I say, well, this is my husband. And he goes, Pierre, my name is Pierre, what's your name? Saving me from a very tricky situation. So fellow Toastmasters and honor guests, don't get offended if I don't remember your names. It's not that I don't remember you, it's just I don't remember your names. But there's a good solution to that. If you stay in the club long enough, and you come often enough, in 2, 3, 4 years, that's how long you've got to stay, I'll probably remember your names. And then I'm reaching the age where memory tends to fail even more than before. But it doesn't prevent me from being active and sometimes even hyperactive. For instance, I'm here trying to remember my speech. And for instance, I've decided to be active in Benjamin. See, I remember your name. Benjamin, you will be very happy in the protection of the environment. And I've decided to save or to use less water, less plastic, less paper, less electricity. But sometimes I hear my husband's voice. Nicole, where are you? I'm in the living room reading. Why are you asking? Because the light is on in the bedroom. What? I forgot. It also happens sometimes I'm under the shower enjoying the warm water and suddenly I hear my husband's voice. Nicole, how long have you been under that shower? You're not rehearsing your Toastmaster speech, are you? 6, 7, sometimes 8 or 9 minutes before I cut it down. Oops, I forgot. Well, you see, to forget is human. And I must be very human. Well, my fellow Toastmasters and honor guests, there is one thing I never forget. Not that I have a nice husband, oh, I know. No, there's one thing I never forget. And there's one thing I even make a point of remembering every single day. And that is how lucky I am to live in a country which is pleasant, safe, and at peace. Back to you, ladies.
Wow, what an ending. You know, one of the things we strive to do in Toastmasters in our speeches is always have a strong start, and then, you know, weave your little story and tell what's going on, and then finish with a bang. For me, Nicole, you accomplished all of that and more. Plus, I also found your speech very relatable. You reminded me of parts of my life as you were explaining some of your stories. But everybody has a chance to be an evaluator. If you don't have one, I however mention this little slip here. Under prepared speaker, you can give your impressions of Nicole's speech. And for this, I forgot to mention to our timer, can we please have 1 minute?
To challenge myself. This is one.
And we should have a little cup around here for speaker 1. I see somebody already has finished, so we will pass this around, please.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Hannah. I must interject at this stage that Toastmaster Hannah has only come to 2 of our meetings, and in her second meeting she's taking a role. I think that's very brave. I think we all should give her a round of applause. You know, this club is about learning by doing. And we find out the things that we do right and the things that we do wrong. But that's actually better said before the evaluation section, which leads me to welcoming you to the next part of our meeting, which is the table topic section. As mentioned, a table topic is a question that you only can reply to basically thinking on your feet. And our table topics master for today is Tatiana. I asked her if she could prepare some topics around the theme of time. Have you done that?
Yes.
Oh, perfect. So will you please come to the floor, come to the podium and lead us through the table topic session.
Thank you very much. Fellow Toastmasters, fellow guests. The topic of today is time, and I have to dive into the concept of time to guide you through the options we have when we speak about this concept. I went as far as quoting now for you the Plato saying that time is period of motion of heavenly bodies. And Aristotle was contradicting or saying that time does not exist on its own, but rather relates to the objects which are moving. So already long time ago, and I use the word time, there was a contradiction on how to see what time is. And today I want to lead you through small topics we put on the table for you to reflect on, to see how you see time and how you receive it and value it. Why valuing? Because I think that it's a very precious concept, part of our life, or our life, because this is the only valuable thing which we lose with every second, while gaining a lot of experience, of course, and many, many memories. So the first on my list is to speak about the time travel. We started from history, and maybe one of you would like to reflect on which time, to which time, point of time, you would like to travel if there would be an option. Sasha?
Yeah.
Why would you try to say that?
Okay, I would like to travel to Aristotle time. Yeah. It was very interesting time to see how science is just just born. Yeah. Yeah. Should I continue? Because
the time is going on. You have 2 minutes max.
2 minutes.
Okay.
But minimum is 1.
Yeah, so it's very interesting for me how how people started from just speaking about agriculture or something like this, and then changed to discussing what time is it, what atom is it, so how it works, and really first atomic theory was introduced during Plato and Aristotle time, so many thousand years ago. And yeah, it's very interesting for me to understand how it can be. Yeah, thank you.
So that was a point of time in the past. But there are occasions, which is also a notion associated with time. And I would like to ask Arush to tell us about an occasion which made you happier or developed you in the time, in the past? Please.
I think it's very, very important that we live in the present. Most of us try to live in the past or in the future. So coming to the point of time traveling, if I were to time travel, I would say that I would just like to live in the present. But anyway, it's very important that we learn from our past, and for sure all of the events that have happened in the past, they are shaping and forming us, even if we don't know at that particular moment. They are going to help us out in the future. So I would say that the most defining moment of my past life up till now has been the point when I decided to explore myself and embark on a journey where I was alone. I had to come out of the shell, of the protected shell that I was living in back home. And when I decided that I would travel to Vienna and I would be here, I think that is one of the most defining moments. And hopefully it has turned out to be the best decision. And I've learned a lot about myself and my environment through that one particular decision.
Thank you very much. There are many moments brought together and associated with a very special notion of Earth turning around its middle, or more beautifully said, seasons, which are changing and making us admire the changes in the nature, the changes in our life. Seasons are a big part of discourse on time, and I would like Lily to tell us about what would you associate with seasons of life or nature, or how you would. Please.
I love meeting in this international group because I come to appreciate more and more my own realizations. Our concept of seasons, I come from the Southern Hemisphere, I'm Australian. We've just come to the beginning of autumn here in the Northern Hemisphere. And the Easter cards have got daffodils and rabbits on them. In Australia it was autumn at Easter time, and it is summer. So snow-covered pine trees is not quite the way it looks, but the Christmas cards have snow-covered pine trees and koalas with winter hats on them. We have in this club had many people from Central America, from the equatorial area of Africa. Do you think they have seasons? They have wet and dry, or just drought. So the whole concept of seasons, for me, is fascinating because it just shows me, according to our concepts, how open-minded we are. I can't even say how educated or how conscious we are of our fellow human beings, of the people that we share this planet with. Not everybody speaks English. Not everybody has summer and winter. Not everybody has something to eat. So I really appreciate the seasons of my life. I am, as some of us here, a retiree. I really love the fact that I had the 10 years here working in this environment, and that my season now of coming back and appreciating and harvesting what I have experienced has come, and I'm very, very grateful for that.
Thank you very much. So these are seasons of life even. Time is always present in our life, and the time of life or lifetime occasion sometimes comes unexpected. we tend to look with nostalgia into some of those occasions. And I would like to have Ben enlighten us on the nostalgic moments you have already accumulated in your life.
Well, then I guess I would take the one that I'm living at the moment. It's been 3 years I'm living in Vienna, and I was supposed to stay only 6 months. And the first Saturday I was here, I was somewhere along the Danube over there. And I met this guy from Israel who told me, "You're here for 6 months? You're gonna see, you will stay 4 or 5 years." I was like, okay, maybe we'll see. Never met this guy again, but I wish to tell him that he was right, and now it's been 3 years. And I'm happy to live because I've done what I wanted to do here at the IEA and also in my personal life. In Vienna, I've been all over Austria where I was doing climbing, ski touring, and all the countries that were around. But I feel I've come around, if it's okay in English to say that, but the grammarian is not looking at me now, so it's fine. Yeah, I feel I've done my time and I'm happy to live, and I look forward to my new adventures. And what I miss the most at the moment is challenges in general. So even though I'm nostalgic, I look ahead for my new chapter.
Wishing you all the best from, I think, the hearts of the club members. Nostalgia is, of course, a nice concept and nice motor for us to move ahead, remembering about beautiful moments and hoping to have more in the future. But for our club, we also have to remember about the rhythm with which this club lives and performs, and the tempo which we are getting every 2 weeks is driven by a very valuable member, Maria Teresa. Please reflect on how the tempo is making us moving even faster, or I hope also more efficiently in life.
Thank you, Madam Table Topics Master. Fellow Toastmasters, honored guests. The tempo, syncopation, a beat. What are we living by? Do we live by this? No. We listen to our head and we listen to our heart. I love this club. I love this club. And I am so encouraged to see so many of you today in the room. And I hope several of you will actually become members. Because one of my jobs as educational vice president is to encourage and to support. This club is nothing without its members. When you talk about tempo, I think about, as I gear up, as I look at an agenda and I see that nothing's filled. We don't have a prepared speaker. We don't have a table topics master. In fact, we don't even have guests. And I start to panic. And there's something going on in me thinking, we're not going to have a meeting because nobody's going to show up. But guess what? I very often, thankfully, proved wrong. Because look, you all are here today. As for me, I thank you, by the way, for the compliment, but Toastmasters is not just about one single solitary person. It's about a community. And I basically follow up with what Lily said. One of the beauties of this VIC club is our diversity. We're not all coming from one country. We're not always speaking English as our first language. Unfortunately, we need to somehow increase our male representation a little bit. Oh, we're working on that. We're working on that. And again, we have a few people from Africa who I would like to see showing up a little bit more often. Because again, it's not just a white, English-speaking, Anglo-Saxon. I know when I first came into this club years ago, it was mainly P5 and diplomats. And it was so stuffy. And here I was, this female, that felt totally, how am I ever going to keep up with these men? They're all born speakers, and here am I, coming with nothing. Guess what? I persevered. I practiced. I was scared at the beginning. But something was telling me, Maria Teresa, the more often you practice, the more often you go outside of your comfort zone, you will have success. So I think at this stage of my life, I can claim success, but I'm still always working to go just a little bit further, because one of the things I despise is complacency. So again, tempo, I think of timpani drums, and on that, I'd like to at least basically do a little drum roll and say, I return control to the table topics master. Thank you very much. Finito.
The last speech
That was the last.
there was one more.
No, I'm afraid it's finito.
Well, the last speech was about time out, but we are out of time.
Oh.
So I return control of the meeting to the Toastmaster of the day. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Tatiana, for your thought-provoking questions. You know, sometimes the table topic master chooses things that I think are really, really difficult to answer. Tatiana, with yours, I felt comfortable with every single one. And I appreciated the opportunity, even though I didn't think I was going to get asked a table topic. You all have been referred to a ballot sheet. It is now your time to basically cast your ballot for the best table topic speaker. I've been keeping track of that. We had Sasha, who actually, most times we don't really expect a guest to take a table topic, but he was especially brave. So we have Sasha talking about Aristoteles. We have Arush talking about her journey. We have Lily talking about the world and how we're not all the same. We have Ben talking about, oh, I'll just be here a few months, turning into years. And of course you have moi, with my journey in Toastmasters, and the time, and the tempo. So, Madam Timer, I forgot to mention this to you. Can you please have 1 minute for this as well? Sure. Safety. Only, oh yeah, it was, just for clarification, you only vote for the best table topic speaker. So there's only one person in there. I'll be honest, sometimes it's very close, it's very hard to decide, but we only vote for the best speaker.
Excuse me, can you maybe repeat your names, because we're new here?
Yeah, we have Sasha in blue, we have Arush with the beautiful headdress, we have Lily over there with the camera, we have Ben who's in navy blue and distinctive, and we have me.
Thank you.
Sasha, Arush, Lily, Ben, and Maria Teresa. I think it's a speaker one.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay, time is up. Time is up. Thank you very much, Madam Timer. Okay, just a little explanation before we move into evaluation. When I first came into this club, I was really kind of perplexed by what is all of this about? Actually, in some instances, it's got us into trouble. We've almost been kicked out of meeting rooms because people found we were being too loud. The idea of the applause is, one, to encourage somebody, to give them that little bit of, yeah, bravo, bravo. The other thing with the applause is also a signal that there's a transformation. Something is moving. Something else is happening. So I transition this from about ready to house. And with this, I introduce you to our general evaluator for today's meeting, who's giving me a big grin. I'm looking forward to it, because for her, all of these people in the room are complete strangers. So it's going to be, I think, a little challenging, but I know she's up to the job. Toastmaster Petra.
This is also shown now, never leave the stage alone. So always say thank you. So yeah, some of you already heard my introduction, some of you not. So my name is Petra Salmuter, and I'm already a member for more than 2 years in a German-speaking club. So we have 5 clubs here in Vienna. So now it's the big challenge and great, yeah, challenge is not really the right word. You see, I should practice more English. But it's a great opportunity for you now to listen to Paco's evaluation speech, because Paco will show you how you can have a structured feedback to the speaker. And as I mentioned before, it's not the person who is evaluated, but the speech. And this is always important to refer to the speech. So please welcome on stage to the Paco!
Thank you very much. Thank you. Don't you forget about me. You know this song? Simple Minds. Dear Toastmaster, our guest. Dear Nicole, my name is Paco. It sounds like taco. You can remember very well. Or you can think about the meaning of Paco. Paco, you know, is a Spanish name. It's come from the Latin pater communitatis. It's the father of the community. So you also can remember thinking about a story. But you can remember a name, maybe imagining how this name is written on the forehead or so on. So there are different ways that you can use to forget, to not forget, to remember a name. And today, I would like to go through your fantastic speech, analyzing 3 different parts, 3 different areas that you can focus when you are evaluating not only speeches, project, a program, or any other activity. I divided it in 3 parts: the what, the how, and the why. The what of the speech, the content. I really like that you start with a personal story. That is very important to engage the audience. When you're talking about something that happened in the past, people can reflect on that, people can find something similar in their own stories. Then the humor. You put some humor during the speech, fantastic. Something that is always enjoyable when somebody can give you some little jokes, little sentences that make you laugh. However, I found that the structure, the transition between your introduction and the body, it was not for me too clear. There was a succession of personal stories, different situations, but I couldn't see there a transition between what you want to talk today and the main ideas of the speech. Already agree? Wow. Then the how, the delivery, fantastic, amazing, smile, body language, eye contact, and use of poses. Great. Maybe I will suggest you to use more the stage. Maybe a bit more movement could be also improve your speech. And then the most important part, the why, the purpose. As I told you, there were many stories, there were many situations that we all can think about and reflect. However, I couldn't understand what was the purpose of the speech in this case. I understand that you reflect on the ability to remember. You maybe can add some ideas, some call for action. That can be a good purpose. For example, you want to share different ways that we can remember names, or we can remember situations. That could be something that adds to this value of the speech. And besides that, thank you very much. I really like the speech, I really enjoy it, and please, don't forget about me. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Paco. It was very interesting for me how you showed me your impressions, and this is what is so great. We all listen to the same speaker here, but if you have an evaluator, you get more topics that you can say, ah, yeah, really, that's something new, I didn't realize. So I hope you also enjoy it like I did. And now I would like to welcome on stage the wonderful team I'm working with, so the evaluation team. And please, Ben, start with your topic, what you have prepared.
2 topics?
2 topics, yes.
Alright, then I'll start with the good or the bad one? The bad one then. I was counting every feeling words we were using from the beginning of this meeting. I did my best, but sometimes I couldn't cover everyone. But we did quite well. I think Arouge, you were the one who was using the most of these fitting words with 7. Petra, you used 5. Tatiana, 1. Very good. Hannah, 1. Very good. And Sasha, you used 4. So now the good part of my evaluation, which is the grammarian. Tatiana, well done. You've used 1, the word nostalgic. And I think I used it also. It was easy. And then, well done to our professional English speakers, which are Maria Teresa, Lily, and Nicole. I was writing down some interesting phrasing. Let's start with Nicole. I think you used at some point the so much so. I found it very good sound. And also all the times you were using oops. It was really fun. It was really to the point. Maria Teresa, you always use in any events, and I think I really like this one, because instead of saying anyways, good way to say it. Finito, well done, didn't know you were studying Italian. And a very interested way of saying also, I don't know exactly what was the topic of that sentence, but you said to remember to chew on. Phrasing. And then Lily, you were using the sentence harvesting what I've been experiencing. It was an interesting way to say it also. Please conclude my section. Ramayan's crown. Well, you for your Italian level.
Oh.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So you see, it's also super important to repeat all these super phrases and also proposals what we could use next time in a bit different way. For example, we in our German-speaking club, we try to avoid the English expressions too often, yeah? Because we're already used to say Dinglish words, you know, German English words, and so this is also a good opportunity that we get it explained. And now we have a very exciting topic fitting to today's headline, the timekeeper. No? Yes? This is different in your club.
You should tell us the times.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Maybe it was different in your club, I don't know, that's why.
Who went over time?
Okay, so today, for the speaker, from Nicole, she was talking 5 minutes 42. It's perfectly on time. Then evaluator, Paco, 3 minutes and 7 seconds. For our table topics, Sasha on time travel, 1 minute 10. Aris, I think. Arush on occasion, 1 minute 20. Lele on seasons, 1 minute 58. Ben on tema nostalgia, 1 minute and 2 seconds. And Maria Teresa on rhythm, 3 minutes.
Thank you very much. So, and now I ask our Toastmaster Arush on stage to announce the ballot counter. Please.
Once again, we have an overwhelming majority for Toastmaster Lady. Followed by 4 votes for Ben, and 2 votes for Maria Teresa, and then an encouragement vote for Sasha, and 1 for myself.
So, if I'm right, I'm now doing the closing words for the general evaluation. Thank you very much. So, I'm on one hand very happy to see different club meeting compared to the own club meeting, of course, and I took a lot of nuggets and helpful tips from here. So the first time when I was here in June, I already heard about the comparison of Toastmaster meeting versions to business life. That's why I used it today also to show you that I remember something and don't forget it. So in general, I'm really impressed about the warm welcome of the guests and using this great atmosphere here to power us. The agenda is super clear, so everyone can follow. I was also happy to see the short explanation what the role is about, so this is also great. And from the evaluation team, I'm very happy that Hannah took over the first time and double role of Ben. Thank you much. And thank you also to Arush. Here I would like to give you all the feedback what I learned from Toastmaster side, that it's better only to name the winner. Not saying how many voices, no, not votes, thank you, how many votes someone got. It's better to keep it neutral, as we don't want to battle. Yeah? It's more to say, yeah, cool, best speech, best legal topic. So this is just something that I would recommend to all of you. And yeah, I'm super happy about the whole organization. And if you want to give any feedback and come again, please go back to your membership contacts. So thank you very much for your invitation, and I hand back to our lovely superstar Toastmaster of the day.
Oh. I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed by the praise. But more important, where is my guest book? Because I have to get this lovely lady over here. Did you sign in?
Yes.
Yes, okay, fine. You know, one of the reasons I am fantastic and lovely and everything is that I do my job as educational vice president. After this meeting, once I get around to recording it, you all will be receiving a message for you where you basically then have an opportunity to sign up for the next meeting. And I noticed that several people already did that. I appreciate that. And speaking of the next meeting, and somehow Arush, I think of you, because the theme for the next meeting is Journey, and that's on the 10th of October. And it also is tentatively going to be the induction ceremony for new members. So Hannah, I'm looking directly at you, because you have not yet been formally inducted, but tentatively on the 10th of October. Other than that, this was a lovely group today. It started off a little bit, ooh, but I think it kind of ended up warm, friendly, constructive, educational, humorous. Maria Teresa, be quiet. In any event, I return control of the meeting to our presiding officer, Toastmaster Ben.
I found it very interesting also that the theme of the day was time, and that 7 people came in late, but in the end it turned very well, and I think it was a really pleasant meeting, so well done to everyone for that. I really encourage all the guests to join us and become members, especially because on the 10th of October, as Maria Teresa said, we will have an induction ceremony and we'll have pins like that they can wear proud all around. In the description on the paper that is very useful, as you said, it's written that I should now ask the guests for their opinions about the meetings. So we're going to do a small round table, starting with you, because we started before. So what was your opinion of the meeting, and are you going to come back? Are you happy?
I'm actually very happy. Yeah, finally I see things that are moving forward in this building. No, I shouldn't exaggerate, but I think it's very useful to be here and to see, first of all, to meet you all of you, to actually discuss several topics or see how other people perceive several topics, interesting topics. And I'm actually really, really eager to join.
Sasha?
Okay, thank you very much. It was very interesting for me to was unexpected question. So I really appreciate this meeting. Thank you for your attention. I will join the club if possible.
Thank you.
So, as I said, this was my second time. I really like it too. I think I'm learning new stuff every time I'm coming. Yes, and I'm actually interested about these pathways. I think that's the.
Yeah, I can talk to you for hours.
Yeah, we need a special meeting for that.
So you'll join us a third time or become a member?
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly how it works.
Okay, 3 times guests?
Ordinarily, the guests can come for three times before they decide whether to be a member. But then we keep track of 3 times, and then I ask you kindly to contact our membership vice president, who happens to be Ines Wingard. She's unfortunately not here today, but she'll be at the next meeting, and for all of you will be saying you want to join, I'll put you in touch with her.
Yeah.
Carola, your impression of the meeting?
Rather favorable. I enjoyed it very much. I was impressed by the high caliber of the speakers. Lily, I was very impressed with. I really learned something, and the fact that you got up and said it just ad hoc was very, very impressive. I also learned the fine balance between acting and speaking and the line of authenticity, which is something that my boss thinks about a lot. And I learned, thank you very much from our evaluator, some really good tips on evaluating a speech. I would have made the same comments as you, but I don't think I would have done it in as graceful of a way. So it was nice to learn about that. I'd like to come again. Time is a very good question. I neither work out in the gym often enough, and I have a similar view of what might happen here. I get my time assigned to me by my boss, so I would like to come again. I will put it in my diary, but I can't promise that I'll be allowed.
Thank you very much. What's your opinion on the meeting?
As I told you, it was the first time I joined this meeting. For me, it was interesting. I wish to have the opportunity to talk as other guests. I will follow. For me, it's interesting, but I wish to see it in the next time to decide. Because I have the same problem. I depend on my boss, the time of my boss to join the meeting or not.
Okay, we're writing that down. We'll have a question next time.
Yeah.
Table topics. Please.
Okay. This was my second time, and the first time I just stayed to the end, so I appreciate being here. Well, I was here late, but I appreciate being here for a longer period. I confess that I'm a little bit scared because you're very efficient while people were talking or making the evaluation. So I thought it was a great way of working, very impressive. I love the energy. I feel it was very good energy, and one thing that really strikes me in a very positive way is that when you're there speaking, you're actually having a lot of fun. It's what I'm looking for, because I like speaking, I like sharing, but it's something that makes me suffer a little bit. So I see you there really just enjoying. So this is what I'm looking for, and I think I'd like to join.
We all started suffering here. And Nicole knows your name.
I've talked with Ines already about joining yesterday, so I'm going to join. But, I like the energy very much, and is the biggest block is in fact the how do you say that?
Jumping?
The jump in, yeah, the improv. Yeah. So, but yeah, I have to get more exercise for that.
I'm really impressed of all the speakers. Like instantly you give the questions and they speak very well that I was like scared. Wow, I don't have any answer on this question and they are speaking for minutes, more than minutes. How? So I'm really feeling challenged and scared, so I think I will take one more meeting to I'm going to take one more meeting because I'm really kind of scared that how could they really, everyone is very good and I'm a very new speaker, so I think I will take one more.
This is coming with practice. Also, when I arrived and I was listening to Lily speaking for a minute and 58 seconds, she's doing this. Now I'm coming above just a minute. So. All right, then I think we should be on time, no?
No, we're not on time.
1:30.
No, well, we're
Okay. Well, thank you very much for joining us today. The next meeting is on 10th of October in the IE library this time.
It's to be confirmed. I've been told that we don't. We thought we had it firmed up, but I've been told we always have to confirm in advance. So again, if you look at Easy Speak, hint, you'll see at least that I record faithfully. At the moment, it's under undetermined. Okay.
Well, thank you very much for coming. And let's get it.
Yeah, but the table used to be bigger. They've taken one out. Yeah. And they've moved this forward. Oh, this table. Oh, they've moved the bookshelf forward. That used to be right at the back.
Thank you very much. You want me to?
My problem is.